So some of the basic things that we're going to try to do today is for people who are not familiar with SEO, there are a few things that you can do that will really help with the search engine's ability to index your pages and the page content properly. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. So it's not advanced SEO by any stretch, but it is the simplest thing that you can do to get page content indexed. And the key areas that we're going to focus on are the page title tag, the page H1 tag, page H2 tags, H3 tags. And these are all ways, if you think about when you were in grammar school writing a paper, you had to create an outline before you could actually write the essay or whatever the paper was. H1, 2, and 3 tags are similar in respect to the outline. So if we go to a site, the way these would appear to a user, and a lot of this is kind of behind the scenes so you don't necessarily see it, got a regular page here with page content. As you can see, you've got some headings here and some page copy. And then if you go up and you look at the page title tag, that's what appears when you hover over the tab. So you can see the page title tag should have keywords that are related one to each other, often separated by a bar. If you right mouse click on an item, you can do an inspect, and then inspect shows you here that this is an H1 tag. Again, there should only be one H1 tag on a page, followed by H2 tags. Again, in an outline format, you can usually just do an H1 and a few H2s. Have your H2 tag there and an additional content. And then beyond that, you might have an H3 tag if it makes sense, and you could even have an H4 tag if the content goes that deep. I would suggest, though, that if you're getting yourself down to an H4 content level, you may actually want to look at a different page altogether. So, how do you get the H1 tags and the title tags on there? Well, one of the first things you want to do is make sure in WordPress that you have a Yoast SEO plugin. It's the simplest way to do it. If you're not familiar with the plugins, on the left-hand side, you see the plugin area. Go up to the top, you can click Add New. Simply search for Yoast. Yoast SEO will come up. And when that happens, you can see since we have it installed, it's already active, but you can also see if it weren't, it would just have Install Plugin, and then you can activate it. And then the Yoast SEO plugin will be on your site. Once you've done that, you can go to the individual page, and you can start using it to add content, H1 tags, title tags, and so forth. So as we look at this, as the page draws up here, we're going to start with just putting in some content. For most themes within WordPress, the H1 tag is taken from the title of the page. That's usually the case, not always, and we'll talk about what to do if that's not the case in just a bit here. But so the often H1 tag is the title tag as well. And then you have your copy here, usually a bit of a paragraph related to the general topic. So you add your content. So you're adding some of your content on here. And as you do that, you see there's no place right here where you would add what's known as an H1 or an H2 tag. To do that, you would then go up and click on the text section. And in that text section, you can type in your H2, actual H2 tag. Now, keeping in mind that every tag, H2 tag, H3 tag, H1 tag, there's an opening tag and a closing tag. So you can see that there's an H2 in brackets, then your top text, or an H1 in brackets in your text, and then you have your closing, which is your bracket, and then a slash, and then your H1 or H2, H3, what have you. This is the opening and closing of your H tags so that you can create it and have the search engines understand that H1 is the primary topic, H2 is a subtopic, another H2 is a different part of a subtopic, and H3 is sub to the H2 and so forth. And this is what you would end up putting into the page itself, and allows you to tell the search engines, here's the structure of my content, and followed by actual content relevant to that H1 tag or H2 tag or what have you. Now, there's also the other aspect of this, which we talked about, which was how do you put in the title tag and so forth for the site. This is where the Yoast SEO comes into play. Yoast SEO is the plugin that we added, and it might be collapsed, so you'd want to expand it. It's also possible, depending on your WordPress setup, that it isn't exposed on your editing page yet. So here are your options. You want to make sure that Yoast SEO is checked on your screen options. If that's the case, then you go down and expand it. Click into the title itself. Most press themes have a default. You want to change that to what makes sense for your keywords. Now keep in mind, you can have one or more keywords here, or phrases, usually separated by a bar or a dash. These need to be related to each other so that the engines are clear on what the overall theme of the content is for this given page. You don't want to mix different types of content on the page, different types of topics on the page. Now the meta description, this is really your sales message to whoever sees it on the search engines. It isn't something that search engines necessarily use to index or rank your page. However, it is something that will influence people in whether they will click or not. Now, the more people you get to click on your SEO results, your organic results, then the more your results will improve. So it pays to give some good thought to the meta description. What will make somebody click on this? And not just click, but be sure that it's related to your content so that when they get to your page, they stick around and they don't bounce. If they bounce, then that click was actually going to hurt you. So make sure your metadata here is clear on what you're offering. The other thing is, Yoast is good about giving you green bars. You want to try to get your content into the length of the green bar. If you type too much, as you can see here, it'll go to orange, red, and so forth. Try to scale it back a bit. It's essentially what they're telling you is this, anything beyond this green bar will not appear in the search results. So it's kind of a waste of topic of your copy. So now the question is, what are the keywords you're going to use? Google Ads has a tool for searching. It's a keyword planning tool. If you go into it, you can add your primary keyword or primary search query, and Google will give you a list of keywords that Google thinks are related to it in some way. Now, as you can see here, some of these things are kind of related to it, some are really far off. You have to go through this and just look at it and figure out which of these keywords make sense for a given page. Clearly, some of these keywords wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't want to compare or put together rhinoplasty and breast implants. Those two things don't go on the same page, right? But what you want to do is make sure that you understand your customers and how they talk about your product and services so that you know which of those keywords you see best works on that page. Other way you can do it if you don't have AdWords is to simply use the queries that you think people are going to be using and go ahead and simply look at what other people are doing who are ranking for that query. What are keywords that are putting in their title tags? This is a good indicator. Also, at the bottom of a lot of search results, Google will also tell you, some of the keywords that are related, some search queries that users also used related to the topic. So if you scroll all the way down, see here are things that Google says are related. Again, there's no substitute for you knowing your customers and how they look for your service and how they talk about your service. These are just things to give you some ideas to other keywords you might use in your H1 tags or H2 tags or in the copy, body copy itself. So keep that in mind as you're looking. These are a couple places. Really, if you're looking for more in-depth keyword analysis than that, then you probably are looking for the help of an SEO agency at that point.